The time for strategic patience with North Korea is over, U.S. President Donald Trump has said, after winning Japan's backing on his policy of considering all options to rein in the rogue state. Mr. Trump has signaled in the past that Washington could look beyond a diplomatic solution to North Korea's nuclear weapons ambitions and consider military intervention. The nuclear program is a threat to the civilized world and international peace and stability, Mr. Trump told reporters on the second day of a trip to Asia dominated by the crisis. The era of strategic patience is over, he declared alongside his host, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Mr. Abe, whose own nation has seen North Korean missiles fired over its northern island amid threats by Pyongyang to sink it into the sea, backed the bullish stance. We always support President Trump's policy that all options are on the table, in reining in North Korea over its provocative actions involving its nuclear and ballistic missile programs, he said. Mr. Abe announced Japan would freeze the assets of 35 North Korean groups and individuals as a new sanction. The United Nations has adopted multiple rounds of sanctions against the reclusive state, the most recent in September following its sixth nuclear test and a flurry of missile launches. Mr. Abe said the additional measures were aimed at punishing North Korea over its weapons program, as well as to attempt to resolve the issue of civilian abductions that took place in the 1970s and 1980s. A number of ordinary Japanese citizens were kidnapped by North Korean agents in that era, in order to train spies in Japanese language and culture. Mr. Trump arrived in Asia with tension mounting over North Korea, as U.S. bombers fly sorties over the Korean peninsula and concerns mount that Pyongyang might stage another nuclear or missile test. The U.S. president began his marathon trip in belligerent form, warning on Sunday that no dictator should underestimate U.S. resolve, a clear swipe at North Korea and its young leader Kim Jong-un. However, in a pre-recorded interview broadcast on U.S. television, he held out the prospect of talks with Pyongyang, saying he would certainly be open to meeting Mr. Kim. "I would sit down with anybody," he said. "I don't think it's strength or weakness. I think sitting down with people is not a bad thing," he said on the Full Measure show. "So I would certainly be open to doing that, but we'll see where it goes. I think we're far too early."